So it's time for you to move out. This is probably your first time making some real money, and you have absolutely no idea how to manage it. And the only precedent you've had is watching your parents live paycheck to paycheck, and you know you don't want to copy that. In this video, you'll see a clear system and some exact numbers that you can use to copy and paste and follow in order to move out in 5 months or less without going broke or ending up running back to home. So if you're watching this video, you probably make around $45,000 a year and you currently live at your mom's house, but you know you want your own space. Maybe you already have a roommate or a spouse or partner that you're planning to move out with and they're ready, but you're not 100% confident that you're financially ready yet. And that's exactly why I'm making this video. So you can have a real structure and system to follow that adults use to move out confidently without just having to wing it or scramble to make bill payments. By the end of this video, you will learn 3 important things. 1 is how much it actually costs to move out. Number 2 is how to break the cycle of living paycheck to paycheck. And number 3 is a total representation of all the expenses that you'll have with moving out, both hidden and obvious. Before we get started, let me just give you a quick backstory of myself. So I finished my time at Lock Haven University in May of 2024. When we first finished college, me and my girlfriend finished at the same time. We both knew we wanted 3 things. We wanted to move out to have our own space because we had been long distance for a while, for about 2 years, and we were kind of over that whole traveling 3 to 4 hours, driving back and forth every weekend. Number 2 is we wanted somewhere affordable, and we got actually pretty lucky with this. A friend of mine had some parents who had rental properties, and they were able to give us a great deal on our monthly rent. And 3, we wanted a decent area. We knew within our budget we weren't going to get a high rise in New York or something like that, but we wanted somewhere that was walkable, somewhere that was had nature, and somewhere that was safe. At the same time, however, I needed to buy a car. My car had died in my last semester of school. Ripped my Nissan Altima. It got me through some tough times, but I needed to buy a car at the same time as wanting to move out. So I actually, and this is important, you're going to have to sacrifice a few things. In my case, it was time, so my weekends. I had to pick up an extra job on the weekends that would fully cover my car, so it wouldn't push back my move out plan because we were dead set on moving out within a year. And with using this strategy that I'm going to explain in this video, we were able to move out by November of the same year. So I graduated in May 2024, and by November 2024, we were moving into our new apartment. Now, I'm not going to lie to you, it was difficult. And I'm just going to give you the big number straight up, be transparent. You need about $10,700 to move out comfortably. I know that might be a daunting number, but I'm going to tell you how we arrived at that number. So I'm going to assume 3 things. 1, you have a roommate or a partner that you're moving with. 2, you live in Pennsylvania. And 3, you're making about $45,000 a year. So like I said, me and my girlfriend, we got very lucky. Our rent ended up being $750. But for the sake of this video, we're going to use average salaries and average rent costs for Pennsylvania. So like I said, the average salary for someone in the ages of 20 to 24 is about $45,000 a year. And the average for a 2-bedroom apartment in Pennsylvania is $1,306 according to Zillow. So broken down even further, that $1,306 per month on rent divided by 2 for 2 people, 2 roommates, is $653. And your salary, $45,000 a year, it can be broken up bi-weekly to $1,420 or weekly $710. Now, just because you make, say, $2,840, that's what it comes to monthly, you might be like, oh, I can afford that. Why can't I just? No, there's a lot of unseen costs that you're not thinking about when moving out. Let's get into them. So you're currently living at home with your mom, dad, or a combination of both, and your expenses are relatively low. So out of that $2,840, I'm going to assume that you're using about 20% of that for just lifestyle living. That comes out to $568 a month. That can include helping her out around the house, DoorDash. I know we all like our DoorDash. We're all getting lazy, don't want to drive to the extra restaurant. Fun, I know, if you're like me, I love video games. If you play in 2K, you're going to buy some VC every once in a while. I understand, get tatted up. I understand it. I understand all of that. Also, gas. If you already have a car, you're going to need to get back and forth between work and other things you want to do. So gas is going to be a monthly expense as well. If you're anything like me, I again got very lucky. My mom didn't really charge me rent. I know if that's the case for you, you can always adjust your numbers at the end of this video. But my mom didn't really charge me rent. I would always, of course, when I got paid, I would throw her 150, 200 every 2 weeks or whatever I could afford at the time. But she never really put too much pressure on me. The only thing that I was responsible for is if I wanted any of the extra door dashes or any of the extra excursions, like hanging out with friends or going on vacations, I would have to cover that myself. Obviously, I'm an adult. Like, why wouldn't I? And then every once in a while, she would just send me to Turkey Hill to get her a pack of cigarettes or some snacks, a Coca-Cola, anything like that. She loves like I don't know if this is like a Southern thing or what, but I know her parents were from the South. They like to put peanuts in their Coca-Cola and then eat the peanuts after I don't know. I don't really like it, but that's her thing and I respect it. And she let me live for basically free, so I'm not going to say anything about it. With that being said, after that 20% that you skim off the top for yourself, and it's a great habit to always know, pay yourself first. Obviously, the payment style won't be necessarily DoorDash or 2KVC. Once you get your own place and established, it might look like putting into your 401k or just having some extra cash in your pocket. But get in a habit of paying yourself first. So that 568 gets skimmed off the top for you for your lifestyle living. That means you have 80% of your monthly pay left. That comes out to $2,272. Looks pretty juicy, right? But no, because there's a lot of unseen expenses, like I was saying before, and it's also important to plan for the unexpected, an emergency fund, and plan for future you. You know, you want to secure your future, so you need to put a future mindset on the money that you're getting in now. So of that remaining 80% or $2,272, you're going to break it up into 3 buckets, which all have their separate accounts. So there's no co-mingling or mixing and all that good stuff. So the first one is your transportation. So out of that $2,272, you're going to take 20% of that, which comes out to $455. You're going to put that towards a transportation sinking fund. So unless you live in a big city like LA, New York, Miami, my guess is public transportation isn't as reliable as it may seem, right? So not securing your transportation, be it gas, insurance, oil changes, regular maintenance and repairs, you're really putting your ability to make money at risk. Unless you're going to hop on a bike and bike an hour to work, which many of us won't, you're going to want to make sure that the car you have is in great working condition. If you don't already have a car, at the end of this 5 or 6 months, you will have a nice chunk of change that you can use, put towards a used car. Again, I made a video about this already. Do not get in a crazy financing deal with a used car dealership or a new car dealership or anything like that, because it's going to bite you in the future. If you can, pay it outright. You don't want the monthly payment. The only monthly payment you should have if you need it is gas and insurance on your car. But again, like I said, this is the 20% of that remaining $2,272 per month that you'll be getting in after your lifestyle living. And that amounts to $455 to your transportation sinking fund every month. So your second bucket coming from that remaining 80%, again, the $2,272 after your lifestyle spending, is your emergency fund. For your emergency fund, that should be getting the 30% of the remaining funds. So that amounts to about $682 per month. This account should be a high-yield savings account or a money market fund. If you don't know what those are, in short, it's just an account that has a good interest rate. Most checking accounts, you're getting less than 1%, and a lot of the cases is like 0.01% for having your money sit there, meaning your money is losing value over time because inflation on a good day, or a good year, they want it to be between 2 and 3%. In recent years, we all know it's been much higher than that. So you want to be getting some type of return on that money. This account is for protecting the future you. So it could be things like unexpected medical bills. Maybe you have a health issue that needs to be taken care of, and you want to make sure you have the money set aside for those bills. Also, it could be bigger car issues. So something that goes past your sinking fund. So maybe you get, God forbid, knock on wood, in an accident, and you need a new bumper, or you need brakes, or you need whatever the case may be. Those repairs can add up very quickly. Trust me, I know. Anybody that knows me knows that my car has been through the ringer at times. And then third is just a safety net. Having that safety net, you can move more freely and take more risk, or just be happier knowing that you have a safety net to catch you if you fall financially. But again, that would be $682 a month out of your overall $2,840 of revenue, of income, post tax, that you'll get every month. Now, at this point in the video, you're like, bro, when are you gonna talk about money actually going to the new crib? You're putting all these things in front of the new crib. I'm trying to move out now, and I understand that. So this third bucket is for the new crib fund. If you've done the math, you probably know that there's a remaining $1,135 of monthly income that we have not accounted for. Now you're probably thinking, Mar, it's $1,135 that I have extra, and I'm putting all this money in the other accounts. Can I just take $200 from that and pay my own rent and live by myself? You can, but I'm telling you, do not do this. In my personal opinion, you should not do this, because you're going to put a crazy strain on yourself. And here's why. There's a lot of unexpected expenses that you're not going to necessarily foresee, unless you're watching this video, about moving in. And I didn't foresee them. I just had the right mind to know that I need to save. But then after I moved in, I'm like, oh, I'm glad I did, because of all these expenses. So let's run through them. So again, we're assuming that you're making $45,000 a year. You have a roommate, and you're willing, and you want to move out relatively quickly. So here are some expenses that you should keep in mind. So again, everything is halved because you have a roommate. So security deposit, that's the cost of just maintaining your reservation for the apartment. Most places have this. So half of the monthly rent, it's usually 1 month's rent, so half of that will be $653. First and last month's rent. A lot of landlords require this, especially if you're new to credit or low to credit. They're going to want to see first month's and last month's rent. So that's another $650 and another $653 for the first and the last month. Fourth is utilities. Sometimes there's a setup cost depending on what you have. So my apartment, I only pay electric, but other places you might pay electric, water, gas, heating, whatever the case may be. So I like to set aside $200 a month for that. Assuming that you're like me, I keep the AC on during the winter. I really don't use the heat too much. I'm a warm body person. My girlfriend hates it, but it's okay. It keeps the energy bill down, honestly. So yeah, about $200 a month for utilities. For groceries, for two people right now, me and my girl, we spend $500 a month. So assuming that's a similar case for you, I would say $250, because I'm assuming if you're living with a spouse, or a partner, they're going to help you with that. Or if you have a roommate, they're going to like take care of their food. You're going to take care of your food. And this is not including like the extra DoorDash fees and stuff like that. 6 is furniture. Assuming that you don't want to really just sit on the floor for the first year. I mean, to be honest, we went like the first 3 or 4 months without a couch just because we were being cheap and we wanted to find a good one for a good price. It's something that we actually liked. But most people aren't like that. So you're going to want a couch. You might need a new bed, TV stand, TVs. If you like me, you like having a desk to do work at. You don't have to buy all of this stuff new. I actually highly discourage you to buy everything brand new. It's your first crib. You're just moving out. You just want to have something that's comfortable. It doesn't have to be perfect. We're not balling yet. We're building up to it. So I would say about $1,000 for that, depending on how many rooms and different things you might have in your house. I would say about $1,000 that you could expect. The next expense is other bills and subscriptions. So we all need Wi-Fi. We all use Wi-Fi. At this point, we could probably put it as a utility. So yeah, Wi-Fi, and then adding on the extras, like if you have cable, if you want cable, I don't know. Cable is like a dying thing in my opinion. But a lot of people also like YouTube TV and Disney Plus and Netflix and Crunchyroll. If you're like me, I like anime, so Crunchyroll was an expense for a while. But I would say try to limit these things as best as you can. I allocate about $150, or I did at that time, at about $150 per month, just trying to estimate what I would spend. And then lastly, this is, I feel like, is the most obvious expense, but people seem to forget it for some reason. But it's like the moving equipment. even if you have friends and brothers or sisters who will help you move for free, you're still gonna have to pay for their gas if you're nice, or you're gonna have to pay for your own gas going back and forth. If you have a lot of things, you might need a U-Haul. I've moved twice at this point, and both times I had to rent a small U-Haul. We don't have a ton of things because there's only two of us, but still, like, all that stuff can't fit in my car, and I didn't want to do 150 trips because I moved about 30 minutes away from my last apartment, so I didn't want to like drive 8 hours a day going back and forth. So I rented a small U-Haul, and that cost me about $150. So just make sure you're including that as well. And the final expense is a 2-month cushion. So I'm always trying to look ahead and try to avoid possible downfalls if I can. Excuse me. And I like to have a cushion, especially for rent. So if it's just you and you're paying half, so $653, that will be a whole month's rent. So you have $650 for the next $653, excuse me, for the next 2 months. Just in case something happens with your job, or you want to take a vacation so the paychecks stop coming if you're an hourly employee or something like that. Or if your roommate can't afford their half for a month or two, like, you have that extra money to put towards that, so you guys have a little time to figure it out. So that's another $1,306, a full month's rent for both you and your roommate, just in case any unforeseen things happen with like health issues or your career wise. But in total moving costs for the first month will be $5,015. If you successfully follow this strategy and stay disciplined with it, you will reach that $5,015 in your move out new crib fund in a little less than 5 months. I like to give like a 6-month outlook just in case, because I know like I was saying, unforeseen things do happen, so it might push you back a little bit. But realistically, if you stay super strict, super disciplined, you'll hit that $5,015 new crib fund amount in a little under 5 months. If you're also staying disciplined in your other accounts, you should have the following, which is pretty nice. So in your transportation, you'll have an additional $2,275 in that transportation sinking fund. So that can go towards buying a full car insurance policy for 3 or 6 months, depending on your policy and your company. But you do get discounts, so you can save some money by paying in full rather than paying month to month, which I learned later on. You could also put it towards buying a used car, even if you don't have a car now. You could get a decent car for $2,275. You got to be a little resourceful, so you might have to look at Facebook Marketplace or not eBay, like other mom and pop or brother or sister situations. You're gonna have to get resourceful, and it's not gonna be the perfect car, but again, we're not balling yet. We're just looking for something to get from A to B from work, and the extra little stuff that you want to do on the side with your friends or your homies. The new crib fund, again, will have the $5,015 ready for move-in, and the emergency fund will have $3,410 just in case anything unforeseen happens. Maybe you already have your car and your car goes down, you got to get fixed, or you can pull a little bit to go with the $2,275 just to get a car for $3,000 that you can use and it's reliable. Shout out to Honda Accords and Nissan Altimas, Nissan Maximas. They're not the most flashy cars. They're not the most roomy cars. I'm a bigger person, but my Nissan Altima held me down for some years. It's been through some things. Ask all my friends. It has seen me through some tough times, and it has seen me through some good times as well. But yeah, in total, you'll have about $10,700 that you can move, have a good jump start to your adult life outside of your mom's crib, mom's basement. And you have that nice safety net for comfortability and freedom to move, knowing that you have a nice safety net to catch you if you fall. And once you moved in, the entire game changes. Now you're not saving for a big goal. You have to learn how to continually manage your money in a way where you're not living paycheck to paycheck or scrounging for extra cash. If you want to learn more about that, feel free, come back to the channel. Next week, I'm going to have a video where I show you how me and my girlfriend really broke down our expenses once we moved in, and we weren't necessarily saving for a big goal, but we just wanted to live relatively comfortable. If this video helped you out, make sure to comment in this comment section below. Check out the description. I'll have my socials posted there. Like and subscribe if you're so inclined. And leave some comments, like I said, to really help me get ideas for what you guys need to hear, what you guys need to learn. You can even comment some specifics about your situation, and maybe I can make a video on that as well. But yeah, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Come back next week. Do all the things. Go live life. Be financially smart. Peace.